Hey guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Peace. Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Like that wasn't annoying. Available Christmas 2025. The album Dad, Shimmy Shimmy. F. Tell me something, girl. Beast. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? I need more. I need more. How y'all doing today? Oh my God, I need so much more. I need more lip gloss is what I need. And before I get in this video today, talking about Eugenia Cooney. I don't know why I laugh when I say that. I have to tell you, going into 2023, I did not think that the majority of my videos would be about Colleen Ballinger and James Charles. I just did not. And I have this feeling, I have this really weird feeling that a lot of the videos that I'm going to be making over here this year are going to be about James Charles and Colleen Ballinger. No, as my neighbor refers to her, Colleen Ballinger. No, I have this feeling that I'm going to be making a bunch of videos about Eugenia Cooney this year. I don't know why. You know, it's interesting because there's certain people that for quite some time, for whatever reasons, I have chosen not to speak about on this channel. And Eugenia Cooney was somebody that I didn't watch regularly. I've never watched her regularly. There's nothing interesting about her content that on a personal level I would want to watch. If you guys like her and you want to watch her, hey, more power to you. She seems like a very nice girl to me. I've said that many times. I am, you know, very worried about her health and things like that, obviously. But, you know, there wasn't much that was interesting to me about her. And, you know, as I was doing some research, because I'm an investigative journalist, that's where the haters are like, timestamp that! February 12th, Peter said he was an investigative journalist of the world, east of the Mississippi, south of Michigan. I am an investigative journalist. I am a drama commentary, shit-talking gossip channel is what I am. Okay, let's just be real clear about that. But as I was doing my research on this, I was like watching this, and you know, I think part of why I don't watch Eugenia Cooney, and I never really have been interested in her stuff. Like, I was looking up her age, and she's 29, she's gonna be 30. Her birthday's around the same time as me. We both have summer birthdays. So this summer, she'll be 30. And I was watching her videos, you know, or I was watching these TikToks of hers, and at one point in her TikTok, she references something about, you know, I didn't want to just sit in my room and be sad. And I'd made, like, comments and videos of mine before when I have been talking about Eugenia Cooney, because just in the last couple months, I started talking about her a little bit, you know? And I feel like I've approached it from a very kind point of view, a very concerned and kind point of view, you know? And when I have been watching these videos that, like I've said, you know, in the past, like, made these comments about, like, well, all she does is just sit in her room all day long, right? And people are like, she doesn't just sit in her room all day long, you know, like they go all Gabby Hanna on me, you know, like she's, you know, they're like, she doesn't just sit in her room all day long, she has a life. Well, no, she really doesn't. She really doesn't. Eugenia Cooney really has, like, she doesn't do anything. And she says that, and as I went back and I was watching, you know, several of her TikToks and things that she said, and if I was a fantastic editor, which I'm not, and I think we all know that, I don't think anybody comes here for my editing skills, I would put all the clips together of where she says things like, you know, all of my friends are online, and I just sit in my room all day long on my computer, and I love being live because I'm interacting with all my friends. I don't really have friends in my real life. She makes those comments on a pretty regular basis. You know, health concerns aside, like, that's a pretty sad statement to make, you know, at, you know, 29 going on to 30, that she really hasn't lived much of a life or had much life experience. And it makes me really sad, you know, when I think about all the experiences that I had had by the time that I was 29 or 30, you know, all the places that I had traveled to. You know, she goes to like Disney World, but she doesn't really even leave like her Airbnb or the hotel room or anything, you know, and people call her out for that, and she doesn't, and it just kind of makes me sad. You know, I think about like the different relationships or romantic relationships I had been before I got sober at 22 and after. By the way, y'all love my new sober t-shirt? But I'd had, you know, several romantic relationships, many friendships, some that had come and some that had gone. I'm a believer in the saying that, you know, people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I had many friendships, many, you know, romantic relationships. I had lived several different places at that point. You know, I had several different jobs at that point. And so to see that there's this person, this human being out there that literally just sits in her room all day long and her only social interaction is online. And it's not, and I want to make this very, very clear, because I know that there are a lot of people that watch my videos that have chronic illnesses. And, you know, through the 7.5 years that I have been on YouTube, from the emails and the DMs that people with chronic illnesses have sent me, you know, like, I never really understood it until I was sitting on my front porch and I couldn't go anywhere, you know, after the accident and when I had pancreatitis and things like that. And so, you know, and that's just a brief glimpse into what that looks like. I know that there are people that have chronic illnesses that cannot leave their home, that have no other option than to have online friendships. I totally understand that, right? But when you're talking about making a choice for that to be your life, you know, I have to venture a guess that most people out there that are, you know, at home and are forced to be at home for whatever medical conditions are going through or for whatever reasons would choose to be able to go out, you know, and interact with people and do things if they could. And that being said about online friendships, you know, I've made some very dear friends online, you know, two of which, like my book club partner, Mel, because I have a true crime book club that I run with my good Judy Mel. Hey, Mel, how are you? And my friend Nikki, that's in the book club. And Mel, I've gone to visit twice in Arizona. And Nikki, the last time she came out there, she drove to Indianapolis to pick me up. And then we flew out there together and had a fantastic trip. And I tell them all the time, I wish we lived in the same town, you know, so that we could, like, go have coffee and go see a movie and go do this all the time. So when I look at Eugenia Cooney and she's just sitting in her room and her only social interaction is on Tik Tok lives and things like that, or these battles, you know, it's this very sad life. And in all honesty, I knew that she had been on YouTube for quite some time. I really had no idea how old she was. And I'm not, like, this is not, like, me saying anything about, like, people that are 30 years old shouldn't be on TikTok and whatever. I'm not saying that, okay? Be 60, be 100, be 20. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. But, like, also, like, step outside your front yard and go interact with some people. I have horrific social anxiety that I've had to work through in therapy, you know? And the price that I paid was not interacting with people for many years on end. And I had to do the work to work through it. And it's still difficult for me when I go to, you know, baby showers, bridal showers, weddings, you know, whatever. And I suit up and I show up, you know? And that all started years ago. I've shared that story in my vlog many times about going to one of my very dear friends' Halloween party, and I was so terrified to go, and I almost canceled at the last minute, and she already knew. I explained to her that day about my social anxiety and things like that, and at the last minute, I went, and she made it very comfortable for me. She said, you know, do you need to come early? And I came early, and I stood in the kitchen with my back against the window and things like that so I could see everybody come in. And I can remember going home that night with my husband, and I couldn't wait till the next thing, and I was so thankful that I had done it, you know? The next thing was just as difficult to get through. You know, I have a lot of issues like other people, you know? I'm a sober person living in a world that's mostly not sober. I have horrific OCD, you know? I have lots of issues. And that is not going to stop me from living the life that I deserve to have. And nor should it stop Eugenia Cooney from living the life that she deserves to have either. And, you know, when I watched her the last couple years, I really, to be honest with you, and I think it's a lot of, like, the way that she dresses and her culture of what she's interested in and things like that. Honest to God, honestly, okay, I thought she was, like, I don't know, 22. I mean, if I had to guess, if somebody said to me, how old do you think Eugenia Cooney is? I would say, I don't know, 21, 22. Like, I really had no idea. And it's strange because, like, I kind of knew how long she had been on YouTube. Like, or YouTube and, you know, all these other sites. Like, I knew that she had been on social media for a long time. But I guess I didn't, like, really connect the two, because I always just saw this visual and she looks very young, you know? And so, and I think she kind of, like, panders to that with, like, you know, 1,500 stuffed animals in her bed and the way that she dresses and things like that, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? But what I'm saying is, I thought she was much younger, okay? And maybe, and in my head, I made up this story that she had lived a very sheltered life, because I've heard behind the scenes, you know, that she has, you know, that her mother is the deciding factor in a lot of what she does, and she still lives at home and things like that. And even that, like, I can't even imagine. Like, and I know that people are going to comment and be like, well, there's reasons for this and all this kind of stuff, but I can't even imagine at 30 years old wanting to live at home. I mean, I can't imagine at 18 years old. I was ready to get the fuck out of the house, okay? I can't even imagine wanting to live at home at 29 or 30, let alone living at home at 29 or 30. You know, my mom used to joke to me. She'd say, about this condo that she lived in, she would say, you know, like, one day, you know, like, this will be yours and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, no. And I'm, you know, going to be at a penthouse apartment in Miami or something like that. You know, and then my mom would say, you know, like, well, why don't you move in and you can, like, we can redo the basement. You can move in here. And I'm like, I am not moving in with my mother at 30 years. No fucking way. You know, and then she'd say some things and she'd be like, well, when I'm gone, like, this condo will be yours. And I'm like, I will never live in that condo, okay, with all them old people in your neighborhood. Now I live here, right? And I love it, but I made it my own. I would never have moved in here with my mom unless she absolutely needed me to take care of her. And then I think that's where it comes into play. You know, a lot of like, well, then why does Eugenia Cooney live at home? She obviously makes enough money off of social media to support herself, so she could afford to live on her own. So why doesn't she live on her own? And I think that that's a lot of things that a lot of people have asked, you know, like, are there medical conditions that she really hasn't talked about? You know, are all the health concerns and whatever? And, you know, here's the thing, is like, I feel like whenever I talk about her, I always dance around the issue of what people are concerned about her for. People are concerned that Eugenia Cooney has a severe eating disorder and that it is detrimental to her life. That's the issue, okay? And I feel like I always dance around that issue when I talk about it, because, like, I don't want to be cruel, because I've had many people in my life that have had eating disorders. I've had eating issues myself. You know, I've had so many people close to me that have had severe eating disorders. I've had many friends of mine that have gone to treatment for eating disorders and have worked through it and had to go to treatment many times, you know, and was scary and were resistant to it, you know. And I heard a statement, and somebody said something to the effect of that you can't force somebody to get help. Like, they won't get help unless they want it. Coming from an addictions point of view, I don't necessarily believe that, okay? I am a big believer in the fact that we do not enable people, okay? And that, you know, when somebody is enabling, and somebody is engaging in detrimental, problematic behaviors to themselves, you either say, if it gets to a point where you're really that concerned about them, you say, well, I'm no longer willing to engage in this relationship anymore, or I'm not going to be in your life, okay? And so then it brings into this question of enabling. I have never met an addict or an alcoholic in recovery that willingly, day one, was like, I am so happy to be here. I cannot wait to get sober, blah, 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 whatever, okay? I met a few people, most people that I know, okay? I can tell you, when I went into treatment and it was my 5th time, I was not planning on sticking around, okay? That was not my goal, you know? But I had enough people in my life that were, like, done with me at that point. I've known a few people, and I mean by a few, I mean like a handful, okay? And the last time I said this in a video, a couple people commented, and they said, well, I willingly got sober. Okay, but did you, the first day, you were so excited to be sober, or were you like, I cannot imagine living my life without a substance. I can't imagine living my life this way. To get sober, to get healthy, okay, whether it's from an addiction or from a eating disorder or from whatever it is so terrifying, okay? You know, like, I have friends of mine that have harmed themselves for very long periods of time, you know, self-harmed. And to get healthy from that, it's like taking away the one thing that they know that works for them, and that's so scary, right? But for them to see what life looks like on the other side without that, what that health, what that that healthy life looks like, right? Without engaging in dangerous, detrimental behaviors that can hurt ourselves, is muting our existence. And it makes me sad for Eugenia Cooney. It makes me very, very sad, right? But at this point, there's either people that are enabling this, and I know that there's been other influencers out there that have tried to get her help in the past and just got demolished for it, okay? And Eugenia Cooney didn't want anything to do with them anymore, and so they're out of her life because that's what happens if you express any concern about Eugenia Cooney. The other thing that was so interesting to me when I was watching these videos was that, you know, like I'm somebody that has, I talked about it last year, and my focus is not trying to be on the negativity this year. My focus is trying to be on the positive. But just as a point of reference, I am somebody that has received hate and negativity on the point of being like extremely, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Extremely, like, you know, detrimental to my life. Like trying to, it's so intrusive. That's what I was looking for. Intrusive to my life, right? When she gets in these videos and she's like, you know, like sometimes the things that you guys say to me, like she just did this in her past 2 TikToks. I just watched the last one, right? And she's like, you know, sometimes when you guys say these things to me, like, yeah, like kind of hurts my opinion or hurts my feelings, but I respect your opinion. Like you have a right to your opinion. And when you say mean things to me, like you can, that's right. I respect that. The fuck? What is that? You respect somebody talking down to you? Okay, there's a difference. And this is where the thinking is so skewed to me, okay? This is where it goes so past when people are just like being so like center focused on the eating disorder, okay? I'm like, okay, yes, that is extremely concerning. Let's set this aside for a second, right? You also have a woman that is 30 years old. I mean, I have friends of mine that are Eugenia Cooney's age that have been divorced twice, have 4 kids, have moved 5 states, and are on to their 3rd marriage, okay? You know, like, it does not make sense to me. It really doesn't. So you've got this woman that is almost 30 years old, living her life in her bedroom with her stuffed animals, and I'm not saying that jokingly. This is the truth, okay? That has real no-life friends, except for people that she knows online, you know, and only can interact with them online unless Jeffree Star chooses to fly her out, right? Like, that's the only social interaction that she has, except for a parent, right? And, you know, I think it's just very, very interesting to me that this whole situation is going on. And then at the same time, she's in these TikToks, and I'm not talking about the comments, because when you read through her comments, right, there's a lot of comments that are really harsh through the years. I think a lot of those people have kind of like, they're done at this point, right? Like, they're just like, we're not engaging with Eugenia Cooney anymore. It's not interesting to us anymore. But when you read through her comments, many of her comments are like, please get help, okay? Treatment would be a wonderful option for you, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell that she reads the comments, because when I go through the comments, you get to like the 8th comment of every comment being like, please seek help. Can you imagine what a life of recovery would be like, okay? You would be such an inspiration to millions of people out there, all right? This would be so great for you, Eugenia. I love you. I'm so worried about you. It's all these comments, right? And then you get to one comment and this person's like, don't listen to the haters. Like, I love you for who you are. And then she responds to that comment, which means she goes through all these comments. So I'm not really sure what she's referencing, okay, as far as hate comments, or the people that are coming for her and saying really cruel things. Now, I have seen some of those comments. When you go through there are some of them. But the majority of the comments, like, for example, let me just read you some of these off of the last ones and tell me if you think these are that mean, okay? I mean, in all honesty, recovery is worth it, I promise. I 100% stand behind that statement. I don't think it's cruel. I'd say that to anybody any time of the week as a sober person. Believe in yourself, Eugenia, and stop apologizing for having human emotions. Please, please, please get inpatient treatment. You have so much to give. Please give yourself the help you need. I'm a mom. Please ignore all the noise. Please get treatment. You are 100% worth it. You can do it. Your recovery story would be amazing for you. Sweet Eugenia. Okay, it goes on and says all this kind of stuff. But I don't think any of those comments are really that cruel. And those were the first comments that I read off of her video, okay? You know, when you go back in here and you read these other comments, it's like, they're not really that harsh. Now, mixed in, there are some harsh comments in there. I'm not going to say that there aren't, right? But there's a lot of really encouraging comments too, okay? barely ever, if ever, will address any of those comments, right? What she does in her videos, it's so weird. So Eugenia Cooney had been gone for a long time, okay? People were saying that she had got banned from TikTok for this, she got banned from TikTok for that, that she could post TikToks, but she wasn't going to make money anymore. Now, if there is one thing that I know about most influencers, okay, is if you ain't making no coin, you ain't going to post, okay? True story, all right? So that didn't surprise me. If Eugenia Cooney ain't going to make any money, why should she be on TikTok Live? That should have proved to you at that point, okay, how much she loved TikTok and all that kind of stuff. When she sits there and she says, oh, I love TikTok so much. Well, she was able to post at that point. We know that now, okay? She's come out and said that. She just couldn't go in these, like, live battles because we'll explain that in a second because it's age restricted, okay? But she could have been posting all that time. She chose not to. And the reason she said was because she just wasn't feeling that great, that she was really struggling, okay? Well, I understand that, all right? I understand anybody needing to take a mental health break, all right? And I grant that to her. But then have like a teaching moment maybe when you come back and kind of explain what it's about, not just saying that you're going really through hard times. And then in this last TikTok, she talks about how she was in this live stream last night and she started saying a bunch of stuff and then people were mad at her, and she's not mad that you're mad at her because she totally respects your opinion, but like maybe she shouldn't be on the platform in the state of mind that she's in right now because she's really going through it. Girl, I agree with you. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should take a long hiatus off of social media, okay? Maybe you should get yourself into, and this is nothing I haven't said about Colleen Ballinger, James Charles, Shane Dawson, Trisha Paytas, Toddy Westbrook, anybody out there that I've ever talked about on my channel, okay? Maybe you ought to get yourself into some deep therapy and really work on these issues, okay? The least of which is why you want to be online all day long at 30 years old, and that's what you want your life experience to be about. It makes me sad. It makes me very, very sad for this girl, okay? And as somebody that has experienced extreme hate and negativity, the fact that she makes apologies for her haters, okay, I kind of think she knows. Okay, so back in the day, I used to cover Amber Lynn Reid, all right? Then I started realizing that Amber Lynn Reid was feeding into the haters. Now, if you watch Amber Lynn Reid for a long time, what you'll know is Amber Lynn Reid is somebody that struggles with her weight, and she talks a lot about her weight issues, okay? If you've watched Amber Lynn Reid for a long time, what you'll know is the first couple of years that she was online were actually pretty sincere, okay? Like, she was really trying to, like, you know, lose weight, and she was trying to make efforts and all this kind of stuff, but she would have a lot of failures to it, right? And then the haters came because they kind of felt like she was a joke. Then what happened over time was that she realized that playing into the haters was financially beneficial to her channel, okay? So she started playing into the haters. This is when I stepped out and I stopped watching Amber Lynn Reid. Because I was like, I am not going to watch somebody that is going to purposely be willing to take their health at risk so that they can monetize off of that and make money in the face of the haters, but act like they don't really care about the haters, but they're pandering to the haters. It didn't make any sense to me, okay? Which is one of the reasons why I made the decision that I talked so much about it in 2023 and 2024. I'm not talking about it as much anymore. There's no reason to. It's still being handled behind the scenes. I just don't need to address it, okay? So when I'm watching her and she's like, you know, like some of you out there say really like mean, cruel things to me, but I totally respect your opinion. I'm like, girl, fuck that. I'm not talking about these comments where people are begging you to get help and they love you and they care about you, okay? I'm talking about the comments that are cruel and nasty, and I've seen those, okay? For you to tell that person that, do you respect their opinion? Oh, no, ma'am. Fuck that. If somebody came to me, to my face with that energy and wanted to say those things to me, okay, I'd be like, oh, no, ma'am. I went through my standing up for myself era. I'm just standing up for myself. Eugenia Cooney, you need to stand up for yourself. The fact that you allow that and you say that's totally okay is almost kind of like invitation to allow your haters to stay around. I don't understand it. I really don't, okay? And in fact, I'd kind of like to see Eugenia Cooney get on TikTok and be like, y'all aren't going to fucking talk about me that way anymore. And if you do, I'm going to block you. Period. End of story. Okay? Because I'm not going to have it. All right? If you're going to leave me nice, you know, compassionate, kind comments, hey, I appreciate that. If you think that, and actually talk about what's going on, girl. Don't talk around it. I feel like we've all been talking around this, except for in the comment sections of Eugenia Cooney's video, okay? Eugenia Cooney's health is very concerning. It's very concerning, okay? And she's got a lot of young people that are watching her, that are looking up to her, okay? She's a role model. That's why people take issues with Eugenia Cooney, okay? The thing is that Eugenia Cooney has never really come out and made, except for a few times, okay? You know, in a Shane Dawson documentary and a few other times, come out and really addressed on a regular basis her struggle with having an eating disorder. If she did, I can tell you right now, all her platforms would be demonetized immediately. And she's never come out and she has said, like, role model, like, this is what you should do to stay as thin as me, right? That's why she doesn't really see it, okay? That's really, to be honest with you, like friends of mine that have been sick, okay, with eating disorders and have had to go to treatment, the denial is so deep. They're not trying to inspire other people to do what they're doing because they don't really see that it's a problem in themselves. And that's where it's really concerning for Eugenia Cooney, because I have to tell you that even with 1 million people shouting at her that she needs to get help, I really do not believe that she thinks it's a problem. I don't, you know? And I think she's scared to death. And I don't think that, I mean, I think we all know this, right? About any kind of like, you know, issue, like eating disorders and addiction issues and on and on and on, and OCD, like I was talking about earlier. A lot of these issues have to do with control. And for those of us that don't feel like we have certain control over areas of our lives, those things come out and we are able to control those things, okay? And, you know, maybe that's a little bit of what's going on in her life. I don't know, okay? All I know is that the girl needs to get help, okay? I was watching his TikToks and I was like, you know, people are like speculating the last month because she's been gone from YouTube for a while or been gone from TikTok for a while, and they're like, is she in treatment, blah, 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 you know? And like, I don't think she'll come out and she'll talk about it. It's interesting because I do this predictions video and I'm always 2 years off. And 2 or 3 years ago, I came out with the predictions video and I said that somebody was going to go into treatment and they were going to turn their channel into them going into treatment and getting healthy. I wish to God it would be Eugenia Cooney. When I was watching these TikToks of hers, I was like, her face does look a little bit fuller. Like, and this is not a criticism whatsoever. This is just watching her, being observant, being honest about my observations, right? And I was like, you know, maybe she has been getting help behind the scenes. Maybe she has. I don't know, you know? I think it's interesting, like, when she put out something about the fact that her and Jeffree Star were going to go visit Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I mean, to be honest with you, the irony of that whole situation is, like, not missed on me a little bit. But then she said, my mom and I and Jeffree Star are going to go visit Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I was like, did your mom go with you everywhere you go? I mean, seriously? Because I can tell you at 30 years old, at 29, at 28, at 27, at 26, at 25, at 24, at 23, at 22, at 21, at 20, at 19, at 18, and trust, yes, lots before I was 18, okay? I went many, many places that my mother was never present, nor did she need to be, okay? So that is such a weird vibe to me that, and people have like always questioned these things for years about like, well, is her mother like her guardian? Is she getting help? Well, I don't know, okay? I don't know why she doesn't just come out and talk about it. I really don't get it. I really do not understand. If she really wants to have this attachment with her audience, right? Just come out and share what's going on with you. Just talk about it, girl. You know, or like, that's when the shame and the guilt and all that stuff comes in. And then you're like, no, like, I can't talk about this stuff because I'm ashamed of my life. I'm ashamed of who I am. And I think that that kind of sees out from Eugenia Cooney a little bit. And it makes me very, very sad. And I have to be honest with you, like, the direction that this video is going is not, like, you're getting Peter Monn 100% right now of how I'd be talking to any of my friends standing in the kitchen about somebody I was concerned about. You know, like, and there's a lot of people out there that I feel like use Eugenia Cooney, and I feel like Jeffree Star's kind of one of those people. It's like, I don't know, like, I mean, I think Jeffree Star's got issues of his own he needs to deal with before bringing Eugenia Cooney along for that ride, okay? But, like, you know, when I'm sitting here... So, anyway, where am I at on time? I want to make sure this doesn't go over. Oh, okay, I've got about 30 seconds before the battery stops. Hold on. Okay, when I started to sit down and make this video today, the video was going to be about Eugenia coming back and addressing where she's been, okay? And why she took time off of TikTok. And to be honest with you, I didn't really understand... Even after I watched her 2 TikToks explaining, I'm gonna get this tripod ready. I didn't really understand where she had been, even after watching both of her TikToks. Okay, so Eugenia Cooney had been gone for a while, okay? People were saying she had been banned from TikTok. People were saying that she had been age restricted from TikTok. People were saying that she was in inpatient treatment. People were saying that she had been 5150, all this kind of stuff, right? Or whatever it's called. We don't call it that here in Indiana, I don't think. So all these people, except we call them 72-hour holds in Indiana. So all these people were speculating about what was going on in Eugenia Cooney. Because the last that she had posted was like on New Year's Eve, right? And then she came back, and then she was posting stuff about, you know, like a little bit here and there about Jeffree Star and her, we're going to go, you know, all this kind of stuff, right? Then she was gone from TikTok, and it was like, people were like, what is going on again? Like, this is weird, right? Like, again, you're gone, right? So people were speculating about it. So then she comes back, and I think this was like 3 days ago. Hold on a second. I have the TikTok actually saved. I could just play it for you. But just to give you kind of like a little bit of an insight into what she's like. I mean, it's like, here's how she is, okay? So
say that I'm sorry that I haven't really been posting or been...
So it's about her talking about, I'm really sorry I'm not really posting. I want to explain what's going on. And then it's 6 minutes of her not explaining what's going on, okay? And her saying that she's just kind of struggling, but she doesn't even say struggling. She just says, I kind of really haven't been in the place to post for the last month or whatever, but then she doesn't explain why she wasn't in the right place. She just says she's not really in the right place again. Maybe she'll explain that later. But she doesn't know, but not in this video. And then she just thanks everybody for all the support that they've given her, and thanks everybody for all the love and the support. I mean, it's literally 6 minutes of just a loop, okay? I've been gone. I haven't really been in a place to, like, post, but I'm back, and... with the hair, and then, you know, like, I'll probably explain this later, maybe, I don't know, and, hey, for everybody that had, like, mean things to say about me, you're totally fine, keep on ripping me to shreds, and, I'll explain this later, and for all those people out there that hate me, that have made the most horrific comments about me in the entire world, it's totally fine, I respect your opinion, keep on ripping me to shreds, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, is this girl crazy? Like, seriously, is she crazy? And I'm just telling you my honest response of watching this. I'm like, okay, she comes back after a month of being gone. She doesn't explain where she's been, okay? She kind of talks in circles through the whole thing. And then she tells her haters that she respects them. I don't fucking respect my haters, okay? I don't. You know, hate me if you gotta hate me, but I don't respect you, and I don't have to, and I don't have to like you for it, okay? And nobody should have to like, or nobody should like or respect their haters. It's such a weird vibe to me, I don't even get it. So then, I'm like watching this, and then the next thing she posts is Jeffree Star sending her his collection, okay, of makeup. Because Jeffree Star's like the only friend that Eugenia Cooney has, besides these people that have live battled her. So at this point, I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on, right? So, like, why did she get banned? She doesn't explain it in this video, all this kind of stuff. So I go in here, and I'm like, I'm going to start reading these comments, right? Because these comments have to explain something. So, these are the comments that I screenshot, all right? Somebody said, man, I was really hoping your absence was because you were in rehab, with a crying emoji. Somebody said, 100%, I'm just a little disappointed. Somebody said, but you knew in your heart that she wasn't, right? Why would she suddenly go back into treatment after saying multiple times that she never will, right? Because she said that she will never go back to treatment. Somebody said, when they came, said something that this person said, it's not judgment, it's concern. And somebody said, your recovery story would be a huge hit. Which, I just want to say, and just interject this for a second, I 100% agree with that statement, okay? I 100% agree that if Eugenia Cooney, all right, and if it is true that she has family members around her, okay, that are very implemental to her life, that are making choices about her life, that have any decision-making over that life, right? If they would help her, okay, get help, right? And she would come out on the other side and be able to openly actually say the words eating disorder and talk about having an eating disorder and talk about all of the guilt and the shame and the denial that goes along with it. I've talked about that on my channels. I know a lot of people in recovery from eating disorders and addiction and other mental health issues that have talked about it on YouTube channels, on TikTok, on whatever, that have helped a lot of people with their issues by sharing their stories authentically. Can you even imagine? And I just want to say, I've said this about other YouTubers in the past, okay? So this is not me coming for Eugenia Cooney. You can go back and fact check this, okay? I've said this in the past about Amy Slayton, and, you know, Amberlynn Reed, and I've said it about other people, okay? That, and other people that, whatever their issues were, that if you worked through that issue, and you worked through the pain, and you got healthy, to share that story would be so inspiring. And I have always believed, okay, that you would not lose subscribers over that. You might lose some haters, but those haters are still going to watch very, very closely for every mess up. And trust me, when you do, they will call you out for it. But that's okay, because you're getting healthy for yourself. But you would gain an entirely new audience of people that were inspired by your recovery story and were like, oh my God, if Eugenia can do this, I can do it too. This person that has been online and has been criticized and has been put down, right? For years and years and years. And people have said all this kind of stuff for her. If she, in the light of all of that, can get healthy and come back and share her story, then I can too. And Eugenia, if you love your fans as much as you say you do, okay? And you constantly are always, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the support and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't you want to be an inspiration to those people? You know, if you can't find another reason to maybe get healthy, and you can't find it for yourself to do it, maybe do it for your audience that you say loves you so much. You know, I mean, and I know that for a lot of people sounds like a reach, but in all honesty, Eugenia Cooney doesn't have a lot of people in her life other than her audience and her online friends. I want Eugenia Cooney to get help, okay? And I have to tell you that if I think she came out on the other side and was healthy and shared that journey, I think that story, I mean, we're not talking just about TikTok lives, okay? We're talking about million-viewed YouTube videos. We're talking about a possible book. We're talking about, you know, like a documentary. I mean, can you guys even imagine on the level of magnitude that Eugenia Cooney's health, that could inspire and help other people? Not to mention save her own life and allow her to have a more prosperous life. You know, I want that for her. I want that for her so much. So anyway, I'm reading these comments because I'm trying to figure out, I've heard all these rumors about why she got banned, but she's never addressed it. So I'm like, what is going on, right? And so somebody sounds like being offline has been really helping you reflect on life and your mental health. I hope this continues and you work more on yourself. That must be one of the hate comments she's talking about. And then somebody says, a platform had finally stipulated a boundary. While it might be hard to accept, what you need isn't what you want. I think in time, you will respect their decision when so many others have failed you. What is interesting about this is, okay, is that both she and Jeffree Star went banned from TikTok, okay? Well, she was age restricted. We now know that. But when he was banned, okay, from TikTok lives, they both came back and kissed TikTok's ass, okay? She and her TikTok addressing it or not addressing it, she says in there, I love TikTok. TikTok's been so good to me. Thank you so much, TikTok. Jeffree Star said the exact same thing. Jeffree Star, who comes to every person that has ever come to him and said, you need me, I don't need you, he kisses the ass of TikTok, okay? When he comes out and talks about being banned from TikTok. And I'm like, I can remember watching this and I'm like, man, you have literally lost. I mean, this is a pathetic moment, okay? When you are begging for your place on TikTok, Jeffree Star, okay? That is a pathetic moment in time. Jeffree Star used to be the person, the reason why people thought he was such a badass, okay? The man has done horrific things in his life, okay? Horrific things. But the reason why people thought that he was such a badass, the ones that stuck around, was because he wouldn't take shit from anybody, okay? The Jeffree Star that I covered 7.5 years ago, if TikTok had banned him, he would have said, I'm deleting my account. Fuck you, TikTok. I'm not here anymore. I'm taking my business over to YouTube or to YouTube Live and to Instagram Live. Fuck you, TikTok. I'm done with you. But instead, he gets on TikTok and he begs them. Oh, because he's making all that money, but he's tipping the same amount of money that he's making. So I don't know. Like, it's so weird to me, these people that kiss TikTok's ass. It's like, I might post a TikTok once every year or something, you know? And then somebody responds to this and says, how do you even know what's happened? If she's been restricted, how come she's on now? Sorry, I don't understand, because she's not saying what has happened. That's exactly right. She comes out and says nothing. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't explain anything. She says, I might explain later what's happened, right? So then somebody says, Jeffree Star spoke briefly about it on his live, that some stuff was happening with her in TikTok that she wasn't happy about. And so I'm keeping on reading through here. And somebody said, there is a clip where she's on the ground, like squatting in front of the camera, and Jeffree moves in front of her, pretty much saying, don't want to flash again. Okay, now I've heard this rumor that TikTok age restricted her, because this has been going on for 6-7 weeks at this point, that apparently TikTok age restricted Eugenia Cooney because she flashed somebody on a TikTok live or something like that. Well, what would be interesting to me about that is that happened a while ago. So I'm not really sure why she's being age restricted now, okay? I really don't understand. Unless, when that happened, TikTok started taking a closer look at her and was like, well, maybe, you know, she is, because she keeps on saying in this TikTok, the original one, that she wants to do a better job, okay? That she wants to be better for people. She keeps on saying that. And I'm like, what did you do, girl? And so there had to have been some conversation that occurred between her and TikTok, where TikTok was saying, girl, you got to do better. And that ain't about flashing somebody, because flashing somebody, she would have got a warning. It would have been a notice that said, you flash somebody in a live, you're restricted for 30 days. You can come back after that. Don't let it happen again, okay? What I have to believe is that even though she doesn't talk about it, TikTok, because of people talking about it, have now taken Eugenia Cooney and her eating disorder to heart, okay? And they're really having an issue with it. And that's why she's age restricted. So she's age restricted. So now I'm like, oh, okay, she's age restricted, right? And somebody said, I'm super confused. How does being age restricted stop her from being with her friends? Because she says on the TikTok, she says, I can't be with my friends. I love my friends, and the only place I see them is on TikTok and in lives, and I can't be with my friends. And I'm like, how does being age restricted stop you from even posting a TikTok video? And girl, you got a whole YouTube account, you done left Twitch, you got Instagram, you got multiple places you can post. So this ain't just about TikTok, okay? Let's just be clear about this. There's something else going on. This ain't just about TikTok, right? So I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. Like, her online friends, how can't she be with them if she's age restricted? So they go on and somebody says, I'm confused too. And somebody says, I think it's just the gifting, battling side of the interaction she has with her acquaintances. And somebody says, if she makes a live with other creators, their lives also get age restricted, and that lowers the views and the profits. And I was like, oh, now it's making sense. So nobody will battle with Eugenia Cooney, because when they do, then anybody under 18 can't come in, right? Because she's age restricted, which means it's going to like cut in half, because the average age of the people that love YouTube, well, besides my husband, my best friend's husband, and everybody, a lot of young people watch TikToks, right? So, and a lot of people are doing, young people are doing TikToks. So that's going to cut into her battling with other people. But it's also going to cut into her money, right? And if there's no money to be involved, then why post to begin with, okay? So she's now age restricted, and that's what this person says. And somebody said, but she can also be in lives with other people who aren't age restricted, I think. And then somebody said, because her friends usually only talk to her through live streams, which is basically what she says, right? Is that only her friends talk to her through live streams, because that's where she sees her friends. And then somebody said, if you can't use the gifting, if you're age restricted, so I guess that's what she means. And then somebody said she can still get gifts, etc. So I don't know. Can somebody please explain that to me in the comment section? And then somebody said, genuine inquiry. Does she have friends, like, outside of her phone screen? And are those humans really who she considers friends? Somebody said, nope. And it goes on and says all this other kind of stuff. And then they're explaining it more and says, she can't go on live with other people or battle with people because you temporarily age restrict them too, unless they stop their live and restart it. So she can't go into people because she's age restricted. And somebody said she doesn't feel bad about anything until she had some of her fame taken. It's all about fame and always has been. And somebody said it just doesn't bring in any money anymore, okay? And then people comment on here and they say, I was praying for a great recovery comeback. Somebody said, your voice is back to normal. Yes, thank you. Somebody said, I'm hoping you've been in recovery this past month. You'll get such huge support if you do. I'm just reading these straight down, you guys, okay? The amount of love and support you would receive recovering would be mind-blowing. All the haters would disappear. You wouldn't have to battle them, which I 100% agree with. I hope someday you'll make the incredibly brave decision to get support and get better. You deserve to be well again. And then it goes, and see, those are all really supportive comments. And then it goes into where it says, the part where you said that people get so caught up in criticizing you and they forget that you're human. And then you said, and it's okay. That made me really sad. It's not okay. Wishing you the best. And I'm like, I agree with that, right? Like, when somebody doesn't wish you well, fuck them, okay? I'm not talking about these comments where people are like, I'm concerned about you. I love you. A recovery comeback would be amazing. That's support. Thank those people, okay? But when the people are, like, making fun of you and putting you down and all that kind of stuff, to then say, it's okay? No, girl, it's not okay. It's not. And this is where it's obvious that you need help that doesn't just have to do with an eating disorder, okay? It's about talking about building up our own self-concept and self-worth, okay? To know that we are worth enough to say, no, I am not going to accept what you are saying to me anymore, all right? That's what it's about. There's so much from watching all this, just in 2 TikToks, that I'm just like, it makes me really, really sad. And this person that said the amount of love and support you would receive for recovering would be mind-blowing. All the haters would disappear. And then somebody said we should give her love regardless. And somebody said, I just remember the hate being so mean even when she tried, and probably one of the biggest reasons she went back down this path, okay? Because she's now, like, coming for people a little bit and saying stuff about this, right? And somebody said, I was there during that time, and the comments were a billion times better than when she was like this. And what they're talking about with her being like this is where she's kind of biting back a little bit, okay? And telling the haters that it's okay of what she's saying, right? Since somebody said she thrives on hate comments. Somebody said if she can't recover, if she were to get better, she wouldn't get attention. It's incredibly sad. And somebody said, I disagree. I think if she recovered, gained a healthy amount of weight, she would get a lot more attention because we all know where she came from. And somebody said it's not that easy. And this person said, of course, but you can't force someone to recover if they don't really want it. It's frustrating. And this person said, even just accepting and acknowledging that she knows she has a problem and has made peace with the fact that she won't be changing, that's okay too. And you know what? I said, you can go fact check this too. I say this on a lot of my channels, my Peterisms and my vlog channel mostly. Awareness is the first step, right? So, I don't know. It's like she's so afraid to talk about it because she's afraid that all of her platforms are going to be demonetized and that all of her platforms are going to be age restricted, so she can't come out and share her story. Well, that alone, you know, should maybe be an indicator to maybe get some help, you know? It makes me so sad. It really does. And, you know, watching her, okay, so then she comes out with this TikTok today, and I thought, all right, well, now she's going to come out and she's going to address this. So hold on a second, because I got this TikTok saved too. Hold on a second, where is it at? Do I have a screenshot of what she said in here? Yeah. So she came out with this TikTok today, okay? Or 23 hours ago. She said, just want to explain some things from my live the other day. Thank you so much to the people who have been being kind. And to the people getting upset with me, I'm sorry. I am just trying to do my best right now with everything. I think we all have issues to work out and be better, and I hope this makes sense. Love you guys. So her go-to is always, I'm a human being. I'm just trying to do better. Okay, I get that, girl. We're all human beings. We're all just trying to do our best, okay? Like June Carter Cash said, just trying to pay the rent, girl. We all are, right? I get it, you know? But to get on video and, like, she's talking about this live stream, and apparently this live stream, she must have, like, came for some haters or something, because... But then she apologizes for doing it and says she wants to do better and be better. I'm so confused about the life of Eugenia Cooney. But what I do know, in having watched these 2 TikToks and several other things of hers and a couple of her videos through the years and just hearing people talk about her and watching other drama channel videos about her and stuff like that, what I do know about her is, for whatever reasons, the girl needs some help. And I hope that she gets it. I sincerely hope that she gets it, you know? And I am a believer that, you know, like... When I look at, like, Amy and Tammy Slayton, okay, and Amy Slayton still, you know, just smoking a cigarette in a live stream on TikTok, she fucked up, she got called out for it and stuff like that, right? Like Eugenia says, okay, people are human beings. They're going to continue to make mistakes and they're going to learn and grow from it. And I hope that they do. I hope Amy learns from that, okay? Trust me, she heard from me what I thought about that, okay? So I used to cover Amy and Tammy Slayton back in the day, right? And I used to say in videos too, like if they could ever get like a nutritionist and a personal trainer and blah, 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 blah. Tammy Slayton is such an inspiration to so many people, right? Tammy Slayton, yeah, she sure still gets some hate, but the overwhelming amount of love that Tammy Slayton gets and that Amy Slayton gets for what they've gone through and sharing their lives authentically and genuinely. I mean, Tammy Slayton, when you go read the comments underneath her stuff, right? I mean, people live for Tammy Slayton, right? Does she still mess up from time to time? Hell yeah. Is she still problematic from time to time? Hell yeah, but she's an inspiration, okay? Eugenia Cooney is still problematic and she's not an inspiration. I think I would rather take somebody that's an inspiration that's still problematic a little bit from time to time. You know what I mean? So, and I said that about them for years. I said, if any of these people would get healthy, well, they did. And I said this for a long time. Amy and Tammy Slayton are the ones that won, okay? Because they showed that you can get healthy. Sure, they're still problematic from time to time. And they address that and they deal with it, right? So no, I'm not a believer that if Eugenia Cooney got healthy, she'd lose everything that she has. Is that what she's afraid of? My health is more important to me than losing my social media platform to begin with. Period. End of story. Okay? So if that's what she's worried about, then she really needs to have somebody talk to her. Okay? And then she needs to have her friend Jeffree Star step in and say, girl, if what your fear is that you, like, for whatever her issues that she needs to get help with, being stuck in a room all day long, okay, an eating disorder, never having any kind of social interactions or relationships, I don't know what that's for, whatever those reasons are for, whatever she's got going on in her life, okay, don't go to inpatient treatment. Have somebody come to your house. Have a therapist come to your house. Zoom call a therapist, right? Something, girl. Have your friend Jeffree Star say, enough is enough. You're obviously struggling. I'm worried about you. Eugenia, I don't even know you, girl, okay? We have never talked. We have never interacted. I'm worried about you. You need help on a lot of different levels. And if you chose to get that help and share it authentically what it's like, it would be so empowering for you and for the people that watch you. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.